human potentiality, sparked by the divine inside of each of us. So it's cool.
You're the most poetic person we've had on this couch, by the way.
Okay.
You speak beautifully.
That's nice.
It's so nice to hear. Welcome to Couch Surfing, the show where award-winning guests look back at their big roles, their little roles, and everything in between. I'm here with the great Forest Whitaker. Forrest?
Hey.
Hey.
It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's see what's on TV, shall we?
Okay.
All right.
Really total that guy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yep.
That's like my
right.
first movie. Sean was in character all the time. So.
He
That
was?
yeah.
Spicoli all the
I remember
time?
We'd be like I was standing against the wall, and then him and my brother would come, and they'd like be having this long dialogue about whether they were going to steal my bag or not. Like, this is off camera. So they're like sitting back there, like, talking, like, turning back, and they're like, hey, you do it, man. I'm like, it's like, it was kind of crazy, actually. It's funny because when I had been playing football, and then I had like trimmed down, just in my life. And so when they were trying to give me the part, they kept saying, you're not heavy enough, you're not heavy enough. So I like had to I was just eating to get big enough to play a football player, which I really was a football player.
What were you eating? How to get paid to eat?
Pizza,
That must be glorious.
like ice cream, peanut butter chocolate, something like that. Yeah.
That must have been fun.
It wasn't the healthiest way, but.
All right. Ready? Okay.
Yeah, it's a bird.
Your first starring role,
This was
you play jazz icon Charlie Bird, and you're directed by Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened to Baby Steps, my friend? You just jumped right in.
He really believed in me. I had never done anything to justify like taking on a role like that, and it was really took a lot from me. I moved downtown into a loft. I started covering all my walls with all the photographs and wandering the streets and learning how to play the sax and trying to understand like this song right here. It's so difficult for me when I play it, even now. If I could still play this little piece. Because I put so much of my emotion, each note for me was a thought or a word or a feeling, and so it really got me. Scene was kind of instrumental in me trying to understand the character and stuff. There's actually a big scene in the movie where I had decided not to sleep for a number of days, because I was preparing to die in the film, and I was like laying on the couch, in the scene, and I fell asleep, and the guy was waking me up, and I looked at him, and I was like, wow, this is a nice guy. He seems to have a nice smile. Who is this? And I really didn't realize I was doing the scene, and I was the doctor, and I kind of looked around, and I saw like there was cameras and stuff, and I saw Clint, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Clint, and he's like, no, let's do it again, I was like, oh, okay.
All right, next project.
2 times focused.
Yeah, Crying Game. This movie, I remember I met Neil at Cannes, I think I just won the award, and Neil was talking to me about this film, and it took a long time to get the Crying Game going. They didn't have any money, and then one time I went to my producer and I said, why are you guys telling me I was going to be able to be taken care of? I was going to be, he's like, it's Forrest. Every day I go to my theater and I get the returns from the day, and that's the only way we continue to go on with the film, because the movie had no money, and he was like using all of his private money, and I was like, that's all you need to tell me,
He was literally robbing his own cash register to pay for the production of this film.
Yeah, every day, yeah. Oh, Ghost Dog.
Ghost Dog.
Yeah, I loved working on that film.
What you got in your briefcase?
It's interesting because like me and Jim Jarmusch, we met in a Super 8 parking lot. We were getting from film, and we started talking, and
Wait, what?
there's like the Super 8 film stock, and we both had Super 8 cameras, and so he was leaving and I was coming in, and we started talking. We said, oh, let's work together. And then like about a year or so later, he said, hey, I got an idea. And then he came over, and then he would come into LA, and we would just sit and talk for hours, like maybe 5 or 6 hours, and he'd say, okay, I'll see you. And that went on for months,
What were you talking about?
We talk about codes, we talk about like, philosophies, martial arts, different types of things, you know, and then at some point he said, okay, I have what I need. I'm going to go away. I'm going to go write. And then he went to his place where he goes to write, and he created.
Now, spoiler alert, your character dies.
Oh, yeah.
But could there be a ghost dog too?
Well, I mean,
Maybe a Ghostface Killer. RZA does a soundtrack.
yeah, RZA's been playing around with. We've been playing around with RZA and talking about it with Jim, and we talked about it being more of a television series. I wouldn't be me, but we've been playing around with that and working on the script and stuff. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. Yeah, Last King of Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
That was an all-encompassing experience for me. I started working on it like months and months before I even left and came to Africa, to Uganda. Just trying to learn Kiswahili and understand the history and studying him and stuff. And when I got here, I was like learning the accordion, and I was going around meeting people who knew him.
When you inhabit a character like that and you dive so deeply, how do you extricate yourself when it's done?
I mean, you try to like do some forms of cleansings of yourself and letting it go. I remember the first day when I knew we were done, I was taking a shower and I was just like trying to get the voice and screaming it out of myself, so to let myself feel free, because certain things like stayed with me for a long time. Some characters stay with you longer.
You know I don't drink. I don't drink.
Just play with you.
So Oprah calls you and says, I got a movie.
The fact is I had to audition for this part.
What?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. Actually, I auditioned for The Last King as well. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the director wasn't quite sure if I would be able to, based on my normal energy, to be able to play this character, and so he wanted to see.
To play an African dictator.
Idi Amin in particular, a very particular dictator. and then here, I think they wanted to see, so I was reading with Lee, and then Oprah, came and it worked out, and I ended up doing this character. And it was a great experience to like try to understand the civil rights movement from a more personalized point of view. And
this film came out during the Obama years, and needless to say, things are different now. In many ways, the film has become more relevant now, wouldn't you say?
I think that people are frustrated because they're still dealing with some of the same inequities and same fears, and so hopefully this new generation, which I see, the youth and the generation, it's the millennials, and will be able to assert themselves in a way that will, with the support of the elders and the others, make some changes and move us towards being one tribe, one people, on the planet itself, global citizens.
Global citizens, yeah.
I can't believe it.
Must be quite a surprise.
Yeah. Well, I like playing that character.
That's the understatement of the year.
He was amazing because in this the director put more gray into like the Star Wars trilogies than normal. Like he was the character who had decided, who was fighting against the oppressed, who was fighting against those dark forces that were trying to harm humanity, but yet decided to take on some of their practices, or chose to take on some of their practices in order to be able to win, because he thought the final result was more important. And that's a big question by any means necessary that we have to look at, and see what is necessary. I love the concept of like people looking inside of themselves, and as you say, the force being with you, or being able to find your internal power and like allow it to sort of manifest in the world, and to recognize that the miraculous is possible at any moment. So, yeah. How it ends is like, he's a father. He's like, at the end of the day, an event happens, and no one knows what has happened, but we know that the world is upside down, and the electricity, the power, everything's, there's anarchy. It's like a purge moment. And he's like, his daughter is on the other side of the country, and he's going to make sure that he can make sure she's safe.
So it's 2018. What made you say I want to star in an apocalyptic thriller?
Well, I think that's what's interesting about it is it's about like love in a lot of ways too. I mean, we go through all these experiences and we see what people are capable of, what they become based on their circumstances, the potentiality of what happens with that. But really, I play a father with, you know, sort of his son-in-law who goes to find my daughter and make sure she's safe.
She's safe, yeah.
And all out of love.
Thanks for being here for us. You can stream How It Ends on Netflix. See you next week on Couchsurfing.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.